We are Steve and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steve and Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun.
Today's Jack Thursday. I'm going to talk about putting your head down and just doing it.
Sounds like a Jill Friday topic. Think
Does
I'm
it?
kidding? Yeah.
Sometimes we trade off. I don't know what Jill Friday is tomorrow, but I think it's a little bit less
I already
spiritual.
forgot. Yeah. It's hilarious. I want to hear you. I want to hear the inspirational Jack come out.
We all have stuff we have started and not finished, or we've all started stuff and it's like, yeah, this is a mistake.
I lose interest. I don't like it.
So if you
It's
deconstruct
harder.
that, I'm going to get into this in a lot of detail. If you deconstruct it and find out why, it's really just about one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free. Please don't forget to subscribe on the Land Academy YouTube channel. Comment on the shows you like.
Dan wrote, I have a 10-acre forested property under contract, which has a cabin on it. The forest zoning does not allow any structures. I do see the county sent a letter of noncompliance from 10 years ago informing them that they needed to remove the structures. Looks like they removed all the structures but the cabin. It's pretty nice and surrounded by logging company land and has physical and legal access. My question is this. Knowing the cabin's not in compliance with the zoning, would this cause issues if I sell through a broker? I'm assuming yes, that I'd be better off selling myself off the market and not attract any attention from some overzealous compliance officer at the county. Just want to know if anyone else has dealt with this.
This is a ask for permission or ask for forgiveness kind of question. And I can safely say that Jill and I are on the same page about this.
Yep.
We ask for forgiveness.
Correct.
So I would post it. I would say there's a cabin here. Unfortunately, now you know it's out of compliance, so you really ethically should disclose this, which is fine. Not sure I would disclose it to the real estate agent, but I would, before the property, whoever buys it, I would say you would have to disclose it in escrow or whatever. You know, maybe you want to disclose it right up front. Hey, there's a great cabin here, but it needs to be moved.
It's going to be in the pictures.
Yeah. It honestly, if you are a legal compliance type of person, one second, Joe, you're probably gonna have to move this, but go for it.
Here's a thought. What if you make a phone call to the county, find out the cost and the time and the process, one phone call, and see how much it is to change the zoning to allow the cabin. And you could put that in your posting, like, hey, FYI, I'm not doing it, but I found out it takes 6 months, $1,000, and you have to do this and this. And then you have a good chance of getting it rezoned so you can keep the cabin.
So Jill's right. You have a lot of options here, which is good. It's always good to have more options than less. And this is a huge attribute versus just buying a piece of regular land, I think. Maybe it's a shed. Maybe you call the county and say, I know you have this housing primary residence or residence compliance thing with this, but we're just using it as a shed.
Yeah, no one's living there.
I'm hoping it's
storing my equipment.
Yep.
Stores my hunting equipment and my ATV. And now that's a whole different scenario.
There's all kinds
of things you could do.
Municipalities in general, and I exclude HOAs in this, municipalities in general have no regulations on outdoor sheds.
By the way, what if the neighbor wants to buy it and he's allowed to have something on there? What's keeping him from buying it and just moving it over on the other property?
Exactly. So that's what I said. These are all positive things. It's not a negative thing. And no, I would not remove it until someone's out there with a clipboard and maybe a shotgun saying this ends now, which I really doubt is going to happen. Worst thing is maybe they charge you.
Right.
This is Dan. This is a career path graduate. Super successful, super smart, up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yay.
Today's Jack Thursday. Let's just talk about putting your head down and doing it. This is why you're listening. I'm going to tell you a real short story about something that I failed at long before I met Jill in the real estate environment. I went out and I was happily going along, buying and selling land, making a heck of a lot less money than I did, after I do now with her, for a lot of reasons. And this is a material point that I'm going to make here in a few minutes. And I'm like, you know what? Buying and selling land's great. It's paying the bills. I'm doing okay. I need to diversify my real estate operation, just for risk reasons and all of that. So I go out, do a bunch of research. At that time, I was really good. My kid was really little. Really, really little. So I was friends with a lot of the parents with the same age children. And this guy I knew came from a family where they would buy notes. They would go buy, bank had non-performing or performing loans. And every bank has, a group of assets that are not performing that are for sale. For a lot of times they're for sale for just what's left on the note value. So I found a Land Academy, this is long before Land Academy, a Land Academy place to learn about this. And I ordered the program and joined the group and never did anything about it. And here's why. I went through all the education. I understood the data part. I understood every single component of this, the financial part, how to negotiate it, all of it. What stopped me is one thing. And this is my point. When you're not doing something the way that you think that you should be doing something, it comes down to one little component of what you can't stand about it. And once you find that component, you can solve it. Of all the other stuff about it works for you. But you have this one, maybe two little things that are missing. Maybe you're afraid of it. Maybe you hate it. Who knows why? What you need to do is find somebody else who that's not the case with them and join forces. And so, no, we never ended up buying any notes, and it stopped me entirely from doing even one deal to this day.
Wait, what was it?
Buying notes.
Oh, wait.
Oh, what stopped me?
What was the one stopping?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
What stopped me was that they said, look, you got to call a bank, call the 800 number to Bank of America or any bank that you can think of, right, big or small, and ask them for the non-performing asset department. There's a lot of names for it. Toxic assets. There's all kinds of names for those types of departments. This is way before the internet, what it is what it is today. You're going to have to call maybe 10, 15, 20 times in a lot of cases because they're not going to understand what you mean. And you have to approach it a different way. And you're going to have to spend a lot of time on the phone talking to, mid to low level employees at banks before you get to the right person. When you get to the right person, they're going to probably say something like this. Hey, yeah, we have non-performing assets all day, but you got to buy them all. You can't just buy one. And because they're trying to make their life easier. And that's almost always not the case. They will separate them out once you get a list and go through it. And so you almost never want to buy tranches of non-performing assets. There's so much garbage in there to get to one or two good deals, which I don't have a problem with. I'll analyze portfolios of real estate for cash flow and all of that all day long. I'm actually really good at it and I enjoy it. But I'm not going to make 50 phone calls talking to people that don't understand the language and then argue with an asset manager who, probably doesn't really understand it either. And it stopped me. If Joe's around, I would have sat down with her and she would
picking up the phone was the problem. It wasn't even let me just say, so it wasn't even the discussion that you had to have and getting to the person and that. It was it simply the phone part, the piece?
I don't like to argue.
Oh, well, why do you think you're arguing?
Oh, it's going to be all kinds of arguments and
really?
Saying, oh my gosh.
Wait.
Oh my gosh. Wait a second, Joe. How many times have you tried to call your cell phone provider? And it's just like pulling teeth. How many times have you called the utility company or anything, any customer service experience? 99% of any customer service experience is a huge letdown. To the point where it's like, you know what? I'm not even going to pick up the phone. And so my point is, I'm throwing myself under the bus because if you love the idea of Land Academy, but you're like, I know it works. You guys are great. The community is awesome. And I'm sure you have people that are smashing it and then people who just haven't sent the mailer out yet. You're right. But why? You really have to ask yourself, what's that one thing? Is it, I just don't have enough money yet? Well, we've addressed that. This is not a sales pitch, by the way. This is like a personal exploration.
Thank you for sharing
I'm not
today.
done yet here.
No, I
You
know.
want this to end?
No.
You do want this to
No,
end,
I don't
don't
want it to
you?
end, but I like what you said. It's a personal expiration, and I just wanted to jump in and say, I'm so happy and proud of you for sharing this. Keep
I
going.
think it's really important for us all to grow and to get better at whatever we're doing. And so,
just kidding. You're right.
why are you just like trying to make this light of this?
Yeah, I'm just trying to have fun with it too, because it is kind of deep and serious. No, I'm not picking on you. I think it's great, and I do appreciate you sharing. Seriously.
Over the years with Land Academy, and again, this is not a sales pitch at all. I know that there's triggers, and so
Mail merge was one.
Mailbird was a huge one. Maybe you're a data person and not a salesperson, or maybe you're a salesperson and not
Excel.
a data person.
People are like, I don't know what to do.
We've addressed that through all kinds of partnerships. Maybe you just don't have any money. We've addressed that. We have landfunding.com and tons of people in Discord that are a huge open checkbook.
Right.
Maybe you're terrible at computers. We have a person in our group right now who owned a hair salon for 30 years. He still owns it. And he joined our group, and it's the first time he picked up a computer. He told us
non-Mac.
recently in an interview, go back and watch it if you want, a couple of weeks ago, that he actually got a computer for Christmas at one point in his life, never opened the box. So much time went by that the computer became obsolete, and he had to go buy another one. So whatever trigger it is, there's an answer if you really want it that bad.
That's my whole thing. You solve what? You solve it if you want to. That's it. It's really just about your motivation. Are you really motivated to do it? Because you know what? You can, as you just talked about your story, I think every single one of us also has a story of doing something amazing that you didn't even know you had it in you because you were so driven. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was learning to ski, or who knows, fill in the blank. You're like, I didn't know I could do that, but I knew I wouldn't stop, kind of thing. Honestly, like learning to fly. There's all scary parts. Like it is nerve-wracking when you first solo and your instructor gets out and they say, go do that again by yourself. I'll be standing over here with my radio in my hand, and I'll talk to you if you need me, kind of thing. And you're like, what? And some people can't do it. Some people freak out at that point.
I understand that.
It's really interesting. I think for me, the difference is with putting your head down and doing it. The motivation that I have going into it, I try to catch myself. It doesn't always work that way. I try to make sure that I am committed to it, especially at this age. I don't want to start something and invest in all this stuff and be staring at all this equipment going, well, I decided I don't want to learn how to fill in the blank. I'm not going to do it. I try to test my commitment level ahead of time and my time and things like that. But, that was Land Academy for me too. Failing wasn't an option.
Yeah, failing was never an option for me either with buying and selling land.
No, and there's plenty of people in Land Academy the same way. And they really came to us really not knowing anything. And they're like, I just trusted you guys and I did what you said. And
Jill and I just full-blown redecorated this house. And so we got bids and for everything, and Jill had the entire house repainted and almost all new flooring and all of that. And so at the end, close to the end of that, we realized that the color, the actual color of the electrical outlets was, that almond color, and that the new automation system that we put in, the light switches were white. And so we got a bid from an electrician to change out all the electrical sockets all over the entire house. This house is very large. And I got it and I fell out of my chair.
It was hilarious.
I'm doing this. I can turn a screwdriver. This isn't that hard. Well, guess what? 6 months goes by, and Jill's like, "Yeah,
I see 3 in the kitchen. That's great, great, baby."
Yeah, you proved the concept in the most visible place in the entire house. Thanks. Nothing matches. And so, guess what? We hired some people to go do it. Yeah. Ultimately, why? I can sit here and deconstruct it for the next 15 minutes, but the fact is, I don't want to do it.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with that. Happy you can join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow's Jill Friday, thank God. She's going to talk about our Land Academy community and how it provides 24/7 support. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Hey, we're on Clubhouse today. Hope everybody listened and joined and got in there because it's pretty darn fun. We really like it. It's a good place to be. Thanks for tuning in. And we hope you find our content valuable, and we really do appreciate your support. So if you haven't already, definitely check out our YouTube channel, especially see the live that I did last week because it was pretty darn cool. And hit the subscribe button. And if you're already a member or a new member, make sure you are in there on Discord.
We are Jack and Jill. Information
And inspiration.
is by undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable, and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.